जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। Welcome to Caitanya Pravaha online course, and today we will be concluding our discussion on the Madhyalila of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. At least I hope so. So we have already completed the first 21 chapters of Madhyalila. We have 4 more chapters remaining, and now we are in the middle of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to Sanatana Goswami. So Mahaprabhu met Sanatana Goswami in the 20th chapter of Madhyalila. So in the 19th chapter, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu gave his teachings to Rupa Goswami, and in the 20th chapter, he met Sanatana Goswami and began his teachings. So 20th chapter, we have seen various incarnations of the Lord, and the 21st chapter, we have seen the sweetness and opulences of the Lord. So these 2 chapters put together describe the Sambandha Tattva, the Sambandha Gnana. Then in the 22nd chapter, we will see Abhideya. Abhideya means the process of devotional service by which we can attain the Supreme Lord. That Abhideya Gnana is given in the 22nd chapter. And in the 23rd chapter, Prayojana Gnana is given. And in the 24th chapter, we see Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu giving an explanation of Atmarama verse, one of the most important verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. He gives 61 explanations of Atmarama shloka. So we may not be discussing all those 61, but I'll give an essence of all of that. Then in the 25th chapter, Mahaprabhu concludes his teachings to Sanatana Goswami, and then he transforms Prakashananda Saraswati, and then he departs from Varanasi and he goes to Jagannath Puri. So that completes Madhyalila. So let's begin with the 22nd chapter. I hope you're able to see the screen. So 22nd chapter is entitled The Process of Devotional Service. So in the beginning shloka, Kaviraj Goswami offers obeisances to the Lord. Vande Sri Krishna Caitanya Devam Tam Karunarnavam Kalapyapi Ati Gudheyam Bhaktir Yena Prakashita. So respectful obeisances unto Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Karunarnavam. He is an ocean of compassion. So we will be able to understand the confidential and conclusive truths of devotional service by the mercy of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Without his mercy, we cannot understand the process of bhakti. Now that Lord Caitanya is mercifully giving the teachings of bhakti to Sanatana Goswami, and through Sanatana Goswami to all of us. So then Mahaprabhu says that I have completed the Sambandha Gnana, now I will be speaking Abhideya Gnana. So Krishna is the only shelter. That's what we have seen in the Sambandha aspect. Now we have seen in the previous 2 chapters about Krishna's opulences. So Krishna's expansions are of 2 types, Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha. Swamsha means direct expansions of the Lord. Vibhinnamsha means separated expansions of the Lord. And they are living entities basically. Karane Unmukha Krishna Parishada Nama Bhunje Seva Sukha. So Nityamukta living entities are devotees, are Charane Unmukha. They are always eager to render service to Krishna. Right? They are not Bahirmukha, they are Unmukha. They are always looking forward to render service to Krishna's lotus feet. So they take pleasure in hearing about Krishna. Krishna Parishada, they are even associates of the Lord, and they chant the holy names of the Lord. And Seva Sukha, they enjoy the happiness of not the material world. They enjoy the happiness of service to Krishna. But the conditioned souls are different. They have so many material desires. कामादीनां कतिन कतिधा palita durnidesha tesham jata मयि न करुणा न कृपा नोपशान्तिः उत्सृज्यैतान् अथ यदुपते साम्प्रतं लब्ध बुद्धिः त्वामायातः शरणमभयं मां नियुङ्क्ष्वस्मदास्ति कामादीनां कतिन कतिधा palita durnidesha. This shloka says that like the senses, the material senses of a living entity are constantly looking forward for sense gratification. So there's so much of desire or hankering to fulfill the longings of the senses. So kamadina katina katidha. So although the living entity tries to satisfy the senses in various ways by providing all kinds of enjoyment to the senses, still the senses are never satisfied. So that's it, never satiated. So they ask for more and more. So the devotee is lamenting, like, I have tried to satisfy these senses for a long time. I have spent so much of my energy to give a lot of enjoyment to the senses, but the senses are not at all leaving me. You yourself a lot to serve somebody, and they should be pleased. No, they say, oh, thank you so much, you have done a lot of seva, now you can sit and relax. No, the senses want more and more and more. So that's the nature of senses. So that's the nature of conditioned souls. With those senses, they suffer in this material world. But by practicing bhakti, one can come out of that entanglement caused by distracted material senses. So now Mahaprabhu describes the glory of glory, supremacy, and independence of Krishna bhakti by quoting several shlokas from Bhagavatam and other scriptures. Naishkarmyamapyachyuta bhavavarjitam na shobhate gnanamalam niranjanam kutah punah shashvada bhadramishvare na charpitam karma yadapya karanam. So naishkarmyamapi achyuta bhavavarjitam. Karma is doing fruitive activities. Karma has so many meanings. One is, karma means, basically it means action, work. Karma can also mean reaction to an action. Karma can also mean prescribed action. Means the activities prescribed for human beings according to their varna and ashrama in the scriptures. Karma can also mean fruitive action. Means you are performing an activity with a specific desire to attain some result. That is fruitive action. Okay. Then fifth is the whole chain of actions and reactions is called karma. In different countries, karma could mean different things. So karma, naishkarmya means non-reactionary work. Means you do some karma, but it will not give any reaction. That is called naishkarmya. But that kind of non-reactionary work, if it is achyuta bhava varchitam, if it is devoid of any love for the Lord, na shobhate, it will definitely not shine. And gnanamalam niranjanam. So without Krishna bhakti, karma cannot shine, gnana also cannot shine. So that's the way in which this karma path work. So basically, by quoting these shlokas, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu establishes the superiority of bhakti over karma. Tapasvino dana paraya shishvino manasvino mantravidasya mangalaha kshemam na vindanti vina yadatpanam tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha. Okay. So whether you are a tapasvi, a great austere person, danapara, very charitable person, yashashvi means very famous person, manasvi, very thoughtful person, mantravidaha means knower of so many mantras, sumangala, performer of so many auspicious activities, whatever you may be, kshemam na vindanti vinaya darpanam. If you don't offer all these things to the Lord, no kshemam, no auspiciousness. Tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha. I offer my obeisances unto that Supreme Lord who is supremely auspicious. Then Jnana versus Bhakti. Shreyah shritim bhakti mudasyate vibho klishyanti ye kevala bodha labhyate tiyashama saukleshala eva sishyate nanyadyathasthula tushava. So this Jnanis may think that they are liberated, but they are not liberated. So vimukta manina, they think that they are vimuktas. Okay, and their attempts to enjoy eternal happiness is like beating some empty grass, right? Paddy, expecting that some grains might come out. So already harvesting is done and all the grains are removed and only grasses are there. The grasses are sent to Goshala for the cows feed. So there you pick up that grass and then start beating, threshing them. You will not get any grains, right? So it's like that. So following Jnana path is like Sthola Toshava Ghati. Okay. So then bhakti is the only means for deliverance. Krishna Nityadasa Jivataha Bhuligela Ye Doshe Mayatara Galaya Bandhina. So because the condition, every living entity is Krishna's Nityadasa, eternal servant of Krishna. By forgetting that one is an eternal servant of Krishna, what will happen? One will be Yei Doshe, because of this fault, Maya Tara Galaya Bandhila. Maya will just tie his neck tightly. So because of forgetting Krishna, right? So do not forget Krishna. Tate Krishna bhaje kare gaura guru rasevan Maya jala chute paya Krishna racharan. So Tate Krishna bhaje. So one should do bhajan of Krishna. One should worship Krishna. Kare guru rasevan, also worship Guru. Maya jala chute. Then he will be relieved from Maya. Paya Krishna racharan. One can attain Krishna's lotus feet. Actually, in these two shlokas, Mahaprabhu summarizes the entire philosophy, like most of the philosophy. So, Jiva's bondage is described in this first shloka, and Jiva's deliverance is also described. Bondage is because of Maya, forgetfulness of one's position as servant of Krishna, and deliverance is when you do service to Krishna and Guru. Simple. Then, Varnashrama. So, just sticking to Varnashrama is also not so great. One should do bhakti. Varnashrama without bhakti is not very much appreciated. Yenyera vindaksha vimuktamaninaha tvayasta bhavada vishuddha buddhayah aruhya kritsrena parampadam tatah patantya dhona adritayushmadandhrayah. So liberation is not possible without bhakti. Even the jnanis and karmis, if they have to attain in success in their path, they have to take shelter of bhakti. So without some element of bhakti, one cannot attain their success in their paths. So now what is true position of Krishna and Maya? Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhakar Yaha Krishna Tahanahi Mayara Adhikar. Krishna is Surya Sama. He is equivalent to sun. Maya Haya Andhakar. It's like Maya is like darkness. Wherever Krishna is there, Maya cannot exist. So we need to take shelter of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, Daivi Hesha Gunavayi Baba Maya Duratyayam Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So Gunavayi, my Maya is composed of these gunas. One should take shelter of Krishna to come out of these gunas. So now Krishna actually takes a vow to deliver all the surrendered souls. Krishna Tomara Hana Yadi Bale Ekabar Maya Bandha Haite Krishna Tare Karipar Sakride. This is Sanskrit shloka. So Krishna takes a vow to deliver all the surrendered souls, right? Krishna Tomara Hana, I am yours. Even if once if we say that, no Lord, oh Krishna, oh Ram, I am yours, Krishna will reclaim us. The very purpose of Krishna's appearance in this material world is to reclaim all of us. Of course, he does rasa aswadan with his associates, but the purpose of Krishna in relationship to the conditioned souls is to reclaim them. So here this shloka is there. Sakradeva prapannoyas tavasmiti chayachati abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami yetadvratam mama. So Lord Ramachandra says that when Vibhishan comes to surrender to Lord Ramachandra, then Sugriva says, don't accept him, kill him. After all, the brother of Ravana, how can you trust him? Maybe he has come here just to transfer all our military secrets to this Ravana. So please kill him, don't accept him. Then Hanuman says, accept him. Then finally Hanumanji and Sugriva ask Ram, what do you want? Ram says, what to speak of Vibhishan? Even if Ravana personally comes and takes my shelter, I will give him abhayam. I will give him shelter. So that's the nature of the Lord. Okay, he takes a vow to deliver these surrendered souls. And one more thing, if somebody approaches Krishna with material desires, you know what Krishna does? Krishna fulfills the material desires of people in such a way that they never want to enjoy material comforts. For example, Dhruva Maharaj approached Krishna with a material desire. What is that? He wanted a position superior to even Brahma. Dhruva Maharaj wanted like that. But the Lord fulfilled that material desire. Okay, gave him a lot of kingdom. You rule for 36,000 years and you can come to Dhruvaloka, all that he said. But Dhruva Maharaj had absolutely no intention or no excitement to enjoy all those material comforts, although he asked for them before. So he did Sakama Bhakti initially, means he had some desires, material desires. With the desire, he approached the Lord. But the Lord, being intelligent, he understands, he approached me. Because he approached me, so I must give him something more than what he is desiring. Right? The material desires, I should just purify him from material desires. Thus, the Lord is supreme well-wisher. He may fulfill the material desires of people in such a way that they don't enjoy on a material plane anymore. Further, he also gives a chance to people for deliverance. Maivam mamadhamasyapi syat evachyuta darshanam hriyamanaha kalaradya kvachit tarati kaschana. This shloka was spoken by Akrura when he was going to Vrindavan. So when on his way to Vrindavan, Akrura was meditating. I am getting an opportunity to see Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. What great fortune! What great fortune! How fortunate am I? He was just very excited to even hear this. So that's the glory of Akrura, that he was not taking the opportunity to see Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan for granted. He says, I am Maivam Mamadhamasyapi, I am Adhama. I am so fallen, I am so lowly, but still I am getting Achyuta Darshanam. I am getting to see Krishna. So how is it? Hriyamanaha kalanadya kvachit tarati kaschana. Although a person is just drowning in a river, still by the waves of that river only he may be thrown onto the shore. That's a great fortune. He's drowning in the river, he doesn't know swimming. But the river itself throws him on the shore. That's very exciting. The waves only will throw him on the shore. So I am like that. Although I am servant of Kamsa and I am very Adhama, still I am getting an opportunity. Kamsa himself, although I am servant of Kamsa, serving a demonic person, Kamsa himself told me, you go to Krishna and bring Krishna from Vrindavan. That's very special privilege that he got. So next, Krishna mercifully teaches such devotees. Naivo payantapachitam kavayastavesha sabrahmayushapi kritamruddha mudaha smarantaha. So many such beautiful shlokas Mahaprabhu quotes, all to establish the glory of Krishna Bhakti. We may not be able to discuss all these shlokas. Each shloka will take half an hour to elaborate on. So awakening of love for Krishna happens in the association of devotees. Sadhu sanga Krishna bhakti shraddhaya dihare bhakti phala premahaya samsaraya yakshay yadrichaya mat kathado jata shraddhastu yakuma nanirvinno nati shakto bhakti yogosya siddhidah. So by associating with sadhus, by sadhu sanga, one's dormant Krishna prema can be invoked. So that's the speciality of sadhu sanga. So now our Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu continues. Yadrichaya mat kathado jata shraddhastu yakuman. If a devotee develops some shraddha, means great faith, in katha, in Krishna katha, na nirvinno nati sakto, means if somebody is too attached, then he will he is qualified for karma path. If someone is too detached, he is qualified for jnana path. But bhakta or a devotee is not too attached, not too detached. Not too detached. Na nirvinno, na atisaktu. No too much of attachment, no too much of detachment. There's a balance. So that's that balance will make him qualified for bhakti yoga. With that balance, if someone is just hearing Krishna Katha in the association of devotees, one will eventually awaken love for Krishna. So now, mercy of devotees. Mahaprabhu elaborates in several shlokas. He elaborates. We'll recite at least a couple of shlokas. Mahat kripa vina, mahat kripa vina kona karme bhakti nai, Krishna bhakti dure rahu, samsara nahi kshay. So, mahat kripa vina, without the kripa or the mercy of great devotees, kona krame bhakti nai. So, how nobody can develop bhakti without mercy of devotees. Krishna bhakti dure raho, forget Krishna bhakti, samsara nahi kshay. He cannot even be relieved from samsara. Means getting relief from samsara is such an insignificant thing in comparison to developing Krishna prema. So without Krishna's devotees association, we cannot develop Krishna prema. What to speak, and not to speak of Krishna prema, we cannot even be relieved from this material existence. Then another shloka. Raghuganai tat tapasa nayati na chejjaya nirvapanat grahatva na chandasa naiva jalagni suryer vina mahatpadarajobhishekam. Mahatpadarajobhishekam means without bathing oneself from the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord, lotus feet of the devotees of the Lord, one cannot come out of this material existence, right? So naishamatistavadurukramanghrim. So many such shlokas he quotes. Then sadhu sanga sarva shastrikai lavamatra sadhu sange sarva siddhi hai. So lavamatra sadhu sanga, even a moment of association of sadhus also is so enlivening and spiritually uplifting. So that's why all the shastras are saying that please take association of devotees. That will help us come close to Krishna. So many such nice shlokas are there. Basically, this whole chapter is glorification of bhakti and bhaktas. So Krishna also instructs Arjuna that he will protect all his devotees. So next, further, some shlokas from Uddhava Gita are quoted. Tavat karmani kurvita nirvidyeta yavata matkatha shravana davva shraddha yavanna jayate. So one has to engage in all these spiritual activities only until one develops shraddha or faith in Krishna's bhakti or Krishna himself. So that faith in Krishna is the most important quality. Then shraddha shabde vishwasa kahe sudhrida nischay Krishne bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hai. So what is this shraddha? So basically shraddha means, shraddha shabde vishwasa kahe sudhrida nischay. Vishwasa means you should have so much of faith and so much trust and confidence in Krishna. That is shraddha. Having complete unbiased faith in the Supreme Lord Krishna's protection is called shraddha. So Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hai. So only for Krishna bhakti devotees perform so many activities. Then yatha tarovar moola nishechanena tripyanti tat skandha bhujopashakhaha pranopahara cha yathendriyanam tathaiva sarvarhanam achyutejya. So just like you water the root of a tree, you cannot water the leaves and twigs and flowers and fruits. You should water the root, then only the tree gets nourished. Similarly, one should not just worship different devatas and all, one should worship Krishna. He is the root of all of them. Ahamadir hi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. And somebody may say, okay, I will water the root. And I will also sprinkle some water on the leaves and twigs. What's your problem? Means I will worship Krishna, I will worship demigods also. I can do both. Then just to make a point more clearer to such a person who might argue. The shloka says, okay, pranopahara tindriyana, you should feed food to stomach only. Then only your hands and legs and other body limbs will get satisfied. This is a better example than the previous one. Right? Watering the root describes the importance of Krishna's worship at one level, but better than that example is feeding the stomach. So now people cannot argue. No, I will feed stomach also. I will feed eyes and nose and ears and hands also. I cannot say, I'll take rice there and then put on my hand. My hands will become powerful. I will pour some rasgulla juice into my ears, and I will put some other food items on my head, so that body limbs will get strength. No, it doesn't happen. We have to feed stomach only. Similarly, we should worship Krishna only. No need of worshipping any other devatas. You can respect them as representatives of Krishna. You can offer obeisances to them as Vaishnavas. They are also Vaishnavas. But we should not treat them as the supreme lords. So that's the point here. Next. Now, based on the Shraddha, different categories of devotees are described. So, Uttamadhikari is a person who has full Shraddha. Shastra yuktau cha nipuna sarvatha dridha nishchayah praudha shraddhodhikari yaha sabhakta uttamo matah. So, Shastra yuktau, a Uttamadhikari has full understanding of Shastra. Nipuna means expert. Sarvatha dridha nishchayah, he has firm determination in performance of bhakti. Praudha shraddha, he has deep faith. Such a person is Uttamadhikari. Then Madhyamadhikari, yah shastradishu anipunaha shraddhanam shraddhavan sastu madhyamaha. He is not nipuna, he is not an expert in Shastra, but he has good faith, deep faith. He is a madhyama. But Kanishta is also devotee only, but yo bhavet komala shraddha sa kanishto nigadyati. But when shraddha is komala, very tender faith, he doesn't have deep faith, such a person is called Kanishtadhikari. So that's about defining or classifying devotees into three categories based on Shraddha. Then classification of devotees based on Rati and Prem. Let's see. Sarva bhuteshu yah pashyed bhagavad bhavamatmanah bhutani bhagavatyatmani yesha bhagavatottamaha. So Bhagavatottama means a very exalted devotee, basically Uttama Bhakta. He sees Krishna everywhere. He sees everything and everyone in relationship with Krishna. So love of Godhead means loving God, loving those who love God, loving those who are trying to love God, loving those whom God loves. Four things. Loving God, loving Krishna, loving those who love Krishna means pure devotees, loving those who are trying to love Krishna, they are sadhakas, practicing devotees, loving those whom Krishna loves. Krishna loves everybody. Everybody is a child of God. Everybody is a part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna loves everyone. So pure devotee has this kind of Krishna prema, love of God. So he does not hate anybody. He sees everyone as connected to Krishna and is always in full Krishna consciousness. Then Madhyama Bhakta, Ishvareta Dhineshu, Balisheshu, Dvishatsusa cha, Prema Maitri Krupopeksha, Yahkaroti Samadhyamaha. Ishvare tadadhineshu baliseshu dushatsucha. So this Madhyama Bhakta deals with four categories of beings in different ways. So when he sees the Lord, he loves, right? Prema. When he sees the devotees of the Lord, Maitri, he makes friendship with them. Kripa, when he sees some innocent or ignorant people, he will show some kripa, means mercy upon them, compassion upon them. Upeksha, when he sees envious people, he stays away from them. But Uttamadhikari doesn't discriminate. Madhyamadhikari has these four kinds of dealings. But Kanishtadhikari is different. So Kanishtadhikari, Archayam eva haraye pujam yaha shraddhaye hate natad bhakteshu chanyeshu sabhaktaha prakrita smritaha. So Archayam eva haraye. So a prakrita bhakta or a Kanishtadhikari, he will worship the Lord with so much of faith, but he cannot deal with other devotees properly. That is a Kanishta. Right? We should love the Lord, but we should not disrespect other living entities. So, in the teachings of Lord Kapila, Kapila Dev says that somebody may worship me, somebody may meticulously worship my deity form, but if he disrespects devotees, disregards devotees, criticizes devotees, then all the worship that he does is oblations in ashes. I cannot accept it. I'm not pleased with such a devotee. So that's why one should come out of this Kanishta level. At least one should come to Madhyama level. Of course, but still, this Prakrita Bhakta, Kanishta Bhakta is also Bhakta, is a devotee. We should acknowledge him for that. So then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu describes he enumerates the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. They are there in Bhagavad Gita also, they are there in Bhagavatam also. Kripalu is very merciful. Akrita Droha, he doesn't harm anyone. He has full faith in the spiritual master, etc. etc. So the root cause of bhakti, Krishna bhakti, is sadhu sanga. Krishna bhakti janma mula haya sadhu sanga. Krishna prema janmete ho punaha mukhya anga. So mula means root. The root of Krishna bhakti is sadhu sanga. And the sadhu sanga is not only the cause of bhakti, it is a limb of bhakti, is a part of bhakti. Means that sadhu sanga it helps all the devotees at all stages of one's life to come into the process of bhakti, associate with sadhus, to maintain oneself, to sustain oneself in the process of bhakti, associate with sadhus, and after perfecting your bhakti also, you relish being in the company of other devotees and glorifying Krishna. That's what sadhu sanga is. So next. Many other shlokas are quoted. We may not take all of them. One of the important shlokas is Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Hirkarna Rasayana Kathaha Tajjoshanada Swapavargavatmani Shraddharatir Bhaktiranukramishati. So now in the association of devotees, one will develop Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti, means from initial stages to final stages. A devotee can progress through all these stages only in the association of devotees. That's very important. One should never think that I'm done with association. Somehow I came into association, I got some inspiration in bhakti, I can live on my own. No. Bhakti, it's very difficult to practice bhakti without the association of devotees. Bhakti is best relished and best practiced in the sadhu sangha, in the association of other devotees. Although there may be so many different difficulties while associating with other devotees, there may be some different opinions, different working styles. That's fine. All these are some small austerities that we need to do to stay in the association of devotees. Right. So next, one should avoid bad association while associating with good devotees. Asat sangatyagayai Vaishnava achar Stri sangi ekas asadhu Krishna bhakta ar. So one should avoid bad association and undue association with the opposite gender. Then, of all the qualities of a devotee, taking shelter of Krishna is the topmost quality. Krishnaika Sharana. So Krishna's qualities inspire surrender. Ahobakiyam Stanakalakutam, you know this shloka, very popular shloka. Ahobakiyam Stanakalakutam Jighamsayapaya Yadapya Sadhi Lebhegatim Dhatruchitam Tatonyam Kamvadayalum Sharanam Rajema. So this shloka was spoken by Uddhava, describing the merciful attitude of Krishna. Krishna gave the position of a mother even to a demoness like Putana who came to kill him. Right? So that's the mercy of Krishna. Then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu describes 6 divisions of surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpaha, pratikulyasya varjanam is very popular. Means to do only those things that are favorable for bhakti. Pratikulyasya varjanam, to reject everything unfavorable for bhakti. Rakshishyatiti vishvasu, having full faith in Krishna's protection, like that. So these are various aspects of Sharanagati, taking shelter of Krishna. Then Mahaprabhu also describes about Vaidhi Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, and different types of sadhana bhakti. And let's see them briefly. And all these are already mentioned in Nectar of Devotion or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So definition of sadhana bhakti. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sa sadhana vida nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hriti sadhyatan. So kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya. So what is sadhana bhakti? By engaging your senses, bodily senses in Krishna's service and practicing bhakti in that way, one's bhava, her love and affection for Krishna will be invoked. So that is called sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means to engage our senses in Krishna's service so that bhava can be developed. That is called sadhana bhakti. So next, what are the characteristics of sadhana bhakti? Swarupa lakshana are hearing, chanting and remembering. Tatastha lakshana are awakening pure love for Krishna. Why this is tatastha lakshana? Because this is something which is not taken external. It's always there. Nitya siddha Krishna prema sadhya ka bhunai shravanadhi shuddha chitte karay uday. So Krishna prema is always there within the hearts of living beings, and by doing Shravan, Kirtan, etc., that has to be just invoked. After invoking, again you continue Shravan and Kirtan. So that is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, then he defines, and the essence of all scriptures is this. So Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is basically performing bhakti or devotional service unto Krishna because it is a recommendation in the scriptures. And Guru recommends. That's what you do. You don't have a natural attraction, you don't have a spontaneous attraction. When you have spontaneous attraction to perform bhakti to Krishna, that becomes Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, not Vaidhi. Okay. So now, to always remember Krishna is the essence of bhakti. Smartavya satatam Vishnor vismartavyo na jatuchit sarve vidhi nishedhasyu etayoreva kinkaraha. So to always remember Krishna and to never forget Krishna is the essence of all vidhis and nishedhas. So vidhi means a rule, nishedha means a regulation, means prescription, prohibition, do's and don'ts. So the essence of all these prescriptions and prohibitions in the Shastras is to always remember Krishna and to never forget Krishna. Okay. So then Mahaprabhu describes 64 limbs of devotional service, 64 limbs of sadhana bhakti. Of all the 64 limbs, there are so many important limbs. All are important, but 5 are potent forms. But even to do these 5 potent forms, we need the first 3 limbs, very important. They are basically centered on surrendering to Guru, taking shelter of a Guru, following the instructions of Guru. So that's very important. So of all the 64 limbs, 5 limbs are very important. That is sadhu sanga, nama kirtana, bhagavata shravana, mathura vasa, and Srimurtira Shraddhaya Seva. Means associating with devotees, chanting the holy names, hearing Bhagavatam, staying in holy dham, and deity worship. These are the 5 potent forms of devotional service. And Maharaj Ambarish has done. And also there are 9 processes of bhakti: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoha Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So these are 9 processes of bhakti everybody knows. And there are examples also. There's one nice sloka that gives all examples. So Shravanam, the best example of Shravanam is Parikshit Maharaj. The best example of Kirtanam is Sukadeva Goswami. Smaranam, Prahlad Maharaj. And like that, many other devotees are mentioned. And Dasyam is Hanumanji. Atmanivedanam is Ambarish Maharaj. Next. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is further elaborated here. That like there are obligations that do not apply to a pure devotee. But still, a devotee is never indebted and is unaffected by accidental sins also. But still a devotee may follow the rules and regulations sincerely. Then Ragatmika Bhakti. Now, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti we have to discuss. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is basically performing bhakti just because it is scriptural recommendation, not having a spontaneous attraction. But in Raganuga Bhakti, you have attraction, spontaneous attraction. That is Raga Anuga, means following the Raga Bhaktas. Who are Raga Bhaktas? Raga Bhakta means Ragatmika Bhaktas, means one who has imbibed that Raga. Raga means like special attraction towards Krishna, right? So, Ragatmika Bhaktas are those who have completely assimilated and absorbed and intensified their love for Krishna. Ishite Sarva Swarasiki Ragaha Paramavishta Bhavet Tanmayi Ya Bhavet Bhakti Satra Ragotmikodita. Then Virajantim Abhivyaktam Vrajavasi Janadishu Ragatmikam Anushrita Yasa Raganugochati. So this Ragatmika Bhakti is present in Vrajavasis. They have completely assimilated and internalized raga for Krishna. They have complete affection for Krishna in all rasas. So to follow the footsteps of such Ragatmika Bhaktas is called Raga Anuga Bhakti. Means serving Krishna with spontaneous love and affection by following the footsteps of Vrajavasis. That is Raganuga Bhakti in essence. So Ragatnuga Bhakta should do this. Krishnam Smaran Janam Chasya Preshtham Nija Samvihitam Tat Katha Prataschaso Kuryad Vasam Braje Sada. So a Raganuga Bhakta may reside in a holy dham and hear about the ideal service rendered by Vrajavasis to Krishna. And accordingly, one must perform bhakti following their footsteps. So that completes the 22nd chapter, which is Abhideya. Abhideya Gnan is given. The 23rd chapter describes Prayojana, ultimate goal, love of Godhead. It's a very nice shloka at the beginning. Chiradadattam nijagupta vittam swaprema nama amrutamatyudaraha apamaram yo vitatara gauraha Krishno janebhyastamaham prapadya. Chirat adattam. This is very important shloka. Chirat adattam nijagupta vittam. For a long time, the Supreme Lord Krishna has not bestowed this special gift. What is that? Nijagupta vittam, very secret hidden treasure. Swaprema nama amrutamatyudaraha. Swaprema, his own prema, Krishna prema, nama, holy name. Amritam atyudaraha. So the Lord has not personally given this nama and prema to the people of this world for a long time, especially Krishna prema. Atyudaraha, because he is so benevolent, he is doing it now. Atyudaraha. Apamaram yogutatara gauraha. He is giving that to even most pamara, most fallen person. Krishno janebhyastamaham prapadye. So I take shelter of that Gaura Krishna, who is distributing his nama and prema profusely to even fallen people. So that's why this whole chapter is centered on how Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu gives Krishna prema. First he gives description of Krishna prema. So when one attains love, and when that affection for Krishna becomes very deep and deep, that is called sthayi bhava. It's like in prema there is sthayi bhava. It's very deep and intensified affection for the Lord. Okay, in that one is completely purified from all material contamination, and one awakens one's loving propensity to render spontaneous service. Right. So no material contamination, great eagerness to render spontaneous service. These are the two qualities of sthayi bhava, okay, in prema. So when that bhava condenses and it becomes intensified, it is called prema. Sthayi bhava becomes intensified. Now you see there are 9 stages in bhakti. Shraddha means faith. Sadhu sanga, associating with devotees. Bhajana kriya means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, etc. Anartha nivritti or nivartana, that is removal of all the unwanted things or unfavorable things for bhakti. Nishtha, being fixed up in bhakti. So before anarthas are removed, our bhakti is anishta, means it's not very steady. It's very unsteady. But to make that unsteady bhakti into steady bhakti, we should regularly hear Bhagavatam. That's very important. And Bhagavatam will release us from all anarthas. Pravishtaha karna randhrena svanam bhava saroruham dhunoti shamalam Krishna salilasya yatha sharat. So when Bhagavatam vibration enters our ear holes, then anarthas are removed. Then Anishtita Bhakti will become Nishtita Bhakti. It becomes steady. So what is that shloka? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By doing Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, our bhakti will become Naishtiki. Our bhakti will become a steady bhakti, right? So then Ruchi, that taste for bhakti, Ashakti, too much of eagerness, Bhava, emotion, Prema means love. Okay. So there are 9 symptoms of this Bhava Bhakti, and their characteristics are given. They're very exalted topics. I'll just enumerate them. There's no qualification to elaborate on them. So Kshanti means forgiveness. The person who has this Bhava Bhakti has forgiveness, Kshanti. Then Avyartha Kalatam, he doesn't waste time. Virakti, completely detached. Mana Shunyata, there is no false ego. Asha Bandha, he is always hopeful that Krishna will come and protect. Samatkantha, very eager to serve Krishna, to associate with the Lord. Namagane Sadaruchi means there is great taste for chanting the holy names. And Asaktistad Gunakhyane. Gunakhyana means the description of Krishna's qualities. Asakti, there is a lot of eagerness to hear that. So next is Pritistad Vasati Sthale. And there is also some attraction to stay in a dham where Krishna performs so many pastimes. And the other examples are also given. You can go through Caitanya-caritamrita because it's supposed to be Pravaha only flow class. So I won't be elaborating on many things. But these are the 9 symptoms of Bhava Bhakti. Then what are the 9 stages of Prema? Prema, then Rati, Prema, Sneha, Mana. Mana is counter love. Mana means like opposite. Means sometimes there is some kind of anger also in this love. Then Pranaya, love, Raga, attachment, Anuraga, sub-attachment, Bhava, ecstasy, Mahabhava, sublime ecstasy. And Lord Caitanya and Radharani is a personification of this Mahabhava. So these are different stages of Prema. And there are other things like Sthai, Vibhava, Anubhava, Sattvika, and Vibhichari Bhavas. So they are very elaborately described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and only a simple glimpse is given in our Caitanya Charitamrita by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu gives the basic teachings, essential teachings in to Rupa and Sanatana. Then they elaborate on them and they write several books. Then Mahaprabhu describes Krishna's qualities. So Krishna, actually there are 64 qualities. Krishna has all 64 qualities. He is Chatushashti Kala Prapurna. And Vishnu has only 60 qualities. What are the 4 extra qualities in Krishna? One is Lila Madhuri. He is absorbed in doing so many pastimes. Second is Prema Madhuri. He is always associated with his loving devotees. Next is Venu Madhuri, means he plays enchanting flute. Vishnu doesn't play. Rupa Madhuri, he has such beautiful form. Of course, Vishnu also has a beautiful form, but Krishna's beauty is superior to Vishnu's beauty. Then Shiva has 55 qualities, and all other Jivas has maximum 50 qualities, to minutely. Maximum 50 in number, but that is qualities. But the quantity of that quality is also less. Okay. So Sri Krishna is controlled by these transcendental qualities of Radharani. There are 25 special qualities of Radharani also. They are also described. Actually, Srimati Radharani has unlimited qualities. 25 are prominent. Shri Radhikaya Priyata Surupata Sushilata Nartanagana Chaturi Gunali Sampat Kavita Charajati Jaganmano Mohana Chitta Mohini Gunali Sampat. We already discussed this shloka in Mahaprabhu's visit to Vrindavan. There Sukha and Sarika, 2 birds, were describing the qualities of Krishna and Radha. So now you see Radharani has several qualities, out of which 25 qualities are very prominently mentioned here. And Srimati Radharani is the shelter of all good qualities, and all the qualities that are present in all other rasas are present in the gopis of Vrindavan and especially in Radha. So in Vatsalya Rasa, in Vatsalya Rasa, Yashoda and Nanda serve Krishna, and Sridama, Sudama and other friends of Krishna serve him in Sakhya Rasa, and Raktaka, Patraka, Chitraka, they serve Krishna in Dasya Rasa, but Radharani serves him in Madhurya Rasa. And further, so the process of awakening all these rasas or melos in the hearts of living beings is also slightly mentioned here. Okay, because the qualification for expanding the seed of love in the hearts of devotees is that they should be completely washed of all material contamination. They should be always satisfied, and they should be attached to hearing and understanding Srimad Bhagavatam, and they are always eager to associate with elevated devotees, and their happiness is in serving the lotus feet of Govinda, and they always discharge the confidential activities of love. So these are various activities done by the devotees of the Lord so that they can awaken their love for Krishna and enter into one of the rasas, melos with Krishna. So this is then that prema is awakened. So that's the whole description of prema or love of Godhead. There are many more details and very deep details in this chapter also. Now, after in this way, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu concludes his teachings to Sanatana Goswami. So he mainly gave his teachings in 3 sections. Sambandha Jnana, that is 20th and 21st chapter. In the 20th chapter, Mahaprabhu very elaborately describes various expansions and manifestations and incarnations of Krishna. Big creation chart, we have seen that day. In the 21st chapter, Krishna, Mahaprabhu describes the opulence and sweetness of Krishna, both greatness and sweetness. It's Madhuryata and his Vaibhava, all are described. So these two put together is called Sambandha Jnana. In 22nd chapter, he describes Abhidheya Jnana, a lot of description about Bhakti. 23rd chapter, much more elevated teachings about Prema, Krishna Prema, stages of Bhava, stages of Prema, Sthayi Bhava, different rasas, all that he describes. So he concludes his teachings now. Then, at the time of concluding his teachings, he gives some special instructions to Sanatana Goswami. He says, Bhakti Shastrera Prachar, my dear Sanatana Goswami, please do Prachar of Bhakti Shastras. Means you should spread the understanding of Bhakti through Shastras. Then, Mathuraya Lupta Tirthera Karaha Uddhar. Means you revive or you excavate all the lost holy places in Mathura and Vrindavan, basically, because Vrindavan is a part of Mathura. So many pastime places of Krishna were not known to people in those days. So one needs to excavate. So Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami are given this charge of excavating those holy places. Then third, Vrindavane Krishna Seva. So you should establish deity worship in Vrindavan. So Sanatana Goswami established a Madan Mohan temple worship. Then fourth, Vaishnava Achar, means you also should give a literature that describes the proper etiquette amongst Vaishnavas, Vaishnava Achar. So that's what Hari Bhakti Vilas is. Hari Bhakti Vilas describes several such principles of Vaishnava etiquettes. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu also told about the importance of proper renunciation according to situation. So renunciation is not just fanatic renunciation or dry renunciation. It's Yukta Vairagya. Renunciation according to time, place, circumstances. So that's the right kind of renunciation. So next, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu also explained some confidential meanings of certain sections of Bhagavatam, like Madhyalila and other things. Then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu placed his hand on the head of Sanatana Goswami and blessed him. Let all this instruction be manifested to you. Now, a disciple may receive a lot of instructions from Guru, a lot of knowledge and teachings, but a disciple will be able to retain those teachings and knowledge only when the disciple has the right attitude and right service. So that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te gnanam gnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. Tadvidhi pranipatena. Pranipat means surrender, submissiveness. Pariprashna means relevant inquiries. Sevaya means rendering service. So when we approach Guru, we need three things. Not only relevant inquiries to know the truth. That relevant inquiries, pariprashna is kept between pranipata and seva. Means you should have submissiveness and service attitude. Then only the knowledge that you acquire by inquiries will be retained. We can absorb this knowledge, we can assimilate and absorb and realize this knowledge only to the degree we have service attitude. Otherwise, one will be like Romaharshana Sutta. Romaharshan had a lot of knowledge, but he did not have the humility to even get up and offer some dandavat to Balaramji when he comes. Right? So one can only become proud of one's knowledge if one doesn't have the right submissiveness and service attitude towards Guru. So that's why he says, may whatever you have learned will not lose their meaning to you. Means Krishna and Sudama rendered a lot of service to Sandipani Muni. You know that whole incident where Krishna and Sudama enter the forest and to get firewood for Guru, and they were lost in a big storm, but they were not leaving the service to Guru. They were just holding this whole firewood in one hand. With the other hand, they were holding the hand of their friend. So Sudama and Krishna, they were holding each other's hands. With the other hand, they were holding firewood. They did not leave the service to Guru. They did not leave sadhu sanga. Although in our devotional service we may encounter so many dangers and disturbances and obstacles, we should never give up the association of devotees. And we should never give up service to Guru. These two things, Guru Seva and Vaishnava Sangha, will keep us in the process of bhakti. So then Sandipani blessed Krishna and Sudama, saying that, my dear children, you will never lose the meaning of whatever shastras or mantras that you have learned. What does it mean? Sometimes when we learn mantras, at the right time they will forget also. Okay. Karna had learned so many things for Parshuram, but at the right time he will forget. But Krishna and Sudama have learned so many things. Sandipani blessed the Krishna and Sudama. You will never lose the meaning of what you have learned. You will always remember. You will be able to apply them at the right time. So that's the glory of sincere service to Guru. So that completes teachings to Sanatana Goswami. Now Sanatana Goswami had one more question, so that we will discuss in the 24th chapter. So Sanatana Goswami humbly asked Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, I want to know the meaning of Atmarama verse. So Mahaprabhu glorifies the association of Sanatana Goswami. So humble Mahaprabhu was. He says that actually I don't have the ability to give you any explanation. But by the strength of your association, something may come out, right? I may be able to explain to some degree. Okay, he says. So basically, Atmarama verse, let me recite the shloka, it's not that slide. Atmaramascha munayo nirgrantha apyurukrame kurvantya haitukim bhaktim itham bhuta guno harihi. So I'll tell the basic meaning first. Then we will see how different meanings are derived. But definitely I'm not going to speak 61 meanings now. It's a very scholarly chapter, little technical also, and very detailed. Okay. So basically the meaning of this shloka is Atmaramascha munayo. Atmarama means a self-satisfied person. So this word Atmarama is mainly applicable to Krishna. He's Atmarama, he's self-satisfied, he's Aptakam. None of his desires are left unfulfilled. He's Purana Manoratha. Whatever he desires, it has to become fulfilled. He's Satya Sankalpa. Okay, everything should become truth in relation to him. So he's Atmarama. But Atmarama word is also used to indicate some devotees or some sages who are self-satisfied. They don't need anything beyond themselves. A devotee is called Atmarama because he is satisfied in satisfying the self-satisfied. Means he is satisfied in serving Krishna always. But a sage or a yogi or a renunciant is also called Atmarama because he is detached. That's all. Okay, the different context in which Atmarama word is used. So Atmarama means self-satisfied sages here, not Krishna. In this context, it is self-satisfied sages. Atmaramascha Munayo. Munayo means very thoughtful personalities. Nirgrantha. This has two meanings. These are multiple meanings, as Mahaprabhu says. But Nirgrantha also means Nigrantha, means they have studied all granthas and have assimilated the meanings of all granthas. They are scholars. They are very advanced souls, knowledgeable souls. There is Nirgrantha. Nirgrantha has another meaning. That is Nigrantha, means no relationship with grantha, nothing to do with any scriptures. They are such ignorant people. Nirgrantha means they have nothing to do with any scriptures. There is no alignment with any scripture or grantha whatsoever. The best example is Mrigari. Mrigari, in this chapter only, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu elaborately describes Mrigari story. So you know that story. I'll say that in brief after some time. So Nirgrantha is either illiterate or a scholar. Okay. So whether you are an Atmarama or Muni or Nirgrantha, whoever you may be, Muni has multiple meanings, Atmarama has multiple meanings, Nirgrantha has multiple meanings. So like that, by doing permutation and combination of these three meanings of these three words, you generate 61 explanations of Atmarama verse. Right? That's all. And it can be more also. So Atmaramascha Munayo Nirgrantha api urukrame kurvanti ahitum bhakti. So whoever you may be in these three categories, kurvanti ahitukim bhakti. Such persons render unalloyed, unmotivated devotional service unto Krishna. Because Itham Bhuta Guno Harihi, the gunas, the qualities of Hari are so attractive that he can attract the minds of Atmaramas also, Munis also, Nirgranthas also. That's the meaning of this whole shloka. And this is a super quick summary of all the 61 explanations. But there is little more to it. There is a lot more to it, but we will go into little more detail. So Atmarama means one who enjoys in these 7 items. What are they? The word Atma can mean body, mind, absolute truth, natural characteristics, firmness, intelligence, endeavor. These are the 7 meanings of Atma or Atmarama. Atma, basically Atma. So Atma can refer to body, Atma can refer to soul, Atma can refer to Paramatma, super soul also. Sometimes mind, sometimes intelligence, sometimes one's own nature, Swabhava, like that. So like that in different contexts, the word Atma can mean different things. You may use the word coconut. So this whole big green fruit which you pluck from the coconut tree is coconut. You remove the outer green covering, it is still coconut. Remove that fiber, it is still coconut. Remove that shell, hard shell, it is still coconut. Remove that pulp, it is still coconut water. In the last stage, it is coconut water. Before that, it is coconut pulp. Before that, it is coconut shell, then coconut fiber, then coconut covering. So it's all coconut oil. You take coconut pulp and then grate it. That is also coconut. But all these different coconuts are useful in different contexts. Right? When you are making dhokla, some Gujarati item, you need to put grated coconut, wet coconut on top of it. That yellow big cake-like things are there. So, but in some other preparations, you need dry coconut, not wet coconut. So the cook may tell the assistant cook, get coconut. You should not get that akha, that big green fruit coconut and put it on his head or hand. Not like that. He should just grate the coconut nicely and then operate. That is coconut. That is also coconut. This is also coconut. You may not use some extra explanation there. Other adjectives or other explanatory words are not required on. A pujari may tell assistant pujari, get coconut. He has to get the dry coconut. Dry, like full coconut which is totally disconnected from the shell. That's what is needed in that puja or that yajna, or in some other context. Full coconut, the green fruit, wet coconut is used. So like that, in different contexts, the word coconut could mean different things. Similarly, in different contexts, Atma could mean different things. Here, Mahaprabhu gives 7 meanings of the word Atma. Okay. Then cha has different meanings. It's used to connect a word or sentence with the previous word or sentence, to give the sense of aggregation, to assist the meaning, to give a collective understanding, to suggest another effort or exertion, or to fulfill the meter of a verse. It is also used in the sense of certainty. Cha. Okay. Atmaramas cha. Atmaramas also certainly, like that. Monaya is one who is thoughtful person, grave, silent. An ascetic is also called Muni. One who keeps great vratas, vows, is a Muni. Or a person who is renunciant, saintly person, he is also called Muni, like that. So Nirgrantha also has different meanings: illiterate, low born, one who does not have knowledge, one who is like totally devoid of any principles, or one who is having great riches. They're all called Nirgranthas. So like that, each word of this shloka has different meanings. So by combining the meanings in different forms, you take one meaning from this word and then add it, and take different meaning from other word, and then somehow make one sentence out of it. Then 61 explanations of this Atmarama verse can be found. Okay, so in this way Mahaprabhu explains 61 explanations. So it's little elaborate and technical. We won't be covering in this short overview course, but still I think I have given a quick summary of what it is, the whole theme of how Mahaprabhu divides all this. You can go through Caitanya-caritamrita 24th chapter, which has like more than 150 pages, and also Caitanya Subodhini. I had given a summary charts there. You can go through. So these are all various types of Atmaramas. So next, 25th chapter. So 25th chapter, Mahaprabhu transforms the hearts of Prakashananda Saraswati and Mayavadis and other residents of Varanasi. They all become Vaishnavas. So that's what is mentioned in this context. We very briefly have seen this incident in the 7th chapter of Madhyalila. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Vrindavan for a tour. On the way, he comes to Varanasi. He meets Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar. So at that time, when he was going to Vrindavan, Prakashananda Saraswati and Mayavadis would criticize Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu did not do anything. He went ahead. He visited Vrindavan. Now he is returning from Vrindavan. So he is going back to Jagannath Puri. Again he halted at Varanasi and gave teachings to Sanatana Swami. So at this time, the devotees became so concerned. My dear Lord, Prakashananda Saraswati and many other Mayavadi sannyasis are blaspheming you, they are criticizing you. So please, you should do something. So then this Maharashtrian Brahman, there is one Brahman there. So he wanted to arrange some meeting between Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and these Mayavadi sannyasis who were always criticizing Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So then actually Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, they were so concerned that Mahaprabhu should not be blasphemed like this, but they don't have the ability to go and confront with Mayavadis. They are not that well equipped with Shastra. They are definitely great devotees, but they are not that well equipped with Shastric knowledge to confront with Prakashananda Saraswati and establish the glory of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So they requested the Lord only. And this Brahmana also came. So as Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar were requesting Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, please do something to control the blasphemous words of this Prakashananda Saraswati and others. At that time, one Brahmana from Maharashtra came there and requested Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, can you please come to my house? I have invited several other sannyasis also in Varanasi to my house. So by the Lord's will only. The Lord finally accepts invitation. Generally, he doesn't accept. He stays in Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar's house only. but he wouldn't accept invitation from others. But he accepted, just for the purpose of transforming these Mayavadis and giving pleasure to the devotees. So, being appealed by Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra to deliver Mayavadi sannyasis, Mahaprabhu accepted the invitation of this Maharashtrian Brahmana. And Mahaprabhu established these principles of bhakti by defeating the false conclusions of Mayavadi sannyasis. We discussed in the 7th chapter of Madhyalila already, where Mahaprabhu, like Prakashananda Saraswati and all these Mayavadi sannyasis, they asked, why are you behaving like a sentimentalist, dancing and chanting and singing with other sentimentalists? Then Mahaprabhu says that my Guru told me that I am not qualified to study Vedanta and other scriptures. I should just chant the holy names of the Lord. And when I am chanting the holy names, I am totally going mad in ecstasy. And I cannot control myself from this holy name. So that's why I am chanting. Then secondly, they said, why don't you study Vedanta Sutra? Then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu says, Vedanta Sutras have clear understanding, clear meanings, but Shankaracharya has given some wrong interpretations to this Vedanta Sutras. Then what is the right explanation of Vedanta Sutra? They asked. Third question. Then Mahaprabhu answered that also. He just spoke Parinamavada, then Vivartavada, and all that very elaborate. We already discussed twice. So once that episode is over, then the disciples of Prakashananda Saraswati approve the statements of Lord Caitanya and they condemn the Mayavadi interpretations of Vedanta Sutra. Then, being transformed by Mahaprabhu's mercy, Prakashananda Saraswati accepted the words of Lord Caitanya as ultimate truth. And Prakashananda and other disciples, they started doing Harinam Sankirtan along with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. They have become devotees. So then, once Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was doing Harinam Sankirtan at Bindu Madhav temple, he was chanting Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govindaram Srimad Dhusudana. So like that he was just chanting the Lord's holy names, and this whole tumultuous sound came from Bindu Madhav temple all the way to the place where Prakashananda Saraswati and other Mayavadis were there. So then Prakashananda Saraswati and all these Mayavadi sannyasis, they came to Bindu Madhav temple. And now Prakashananda Saraswati went and fell at the feet of Lord Caitanya. You see in this picture here. So he fell at the feet of Lord Caitanya, begging forgiveness. My dear Lord, I have blasphemed you, I have criticized you. I am such an offender. Please forgive me. So then Mahaprabhu says, no, don't worry. You are chanting the holy names of Krishna. You have become transformed. So Mahaprabhu just very gracefully lifts Prakashananda Saraswati and forgives him. Then Prakashananda Saraswati requests Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu that can you please speak the purport of Brahma Sutra? Then Mahaprabhu explains. And also Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu explains the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam and Brahma Sutras given by the Lord. And he also explains Chatushloki Bhagavatam and again explains the meaning of Sambandha, Videya, Prayojana based on Srimad Bhagavatam and Chatushloki. We also have seen this in the Madhyalila. So then Mahaprabhu describes the actual meaning of Vedanta Sutra and essence of all Vedic literatures. It's a very elaborate philosophical discussion, which is much shorter compared to other previous technical discussions. But still, Mahaprabhu gives a very wonderful understanding, and mainly he establishes the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam in this chapter. He says that Vyasadeva has placed all the conclusions of the 4 Vedas, 108 Upanishads in the aphorisms of Vedanta Sutra. And Vyasadeva himself has given a purport to this Vedanta Sutra in the form of 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why oftentimes Srimad Bhagavatam is said to be a natural commentary for Vedanta Sutra. So initially I didn't understand when I was reading Bhagavatam first time, natural commentary for Vedanta Sutra, what does it mean? Now, when I read CC, I understood. So he wrote Vedanta Sutra. Now you see, Prabhupada also, Bhagavatam shlokas are there, he gives purport. Similarly, Vyasadeva wrote Vedanta Sutra and he gave a purport, and that purport is Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada is giving purport to that purport. Okay. So the essence of Bhagavatam is manifest in Chatushloki that describes Sambandha Tattva, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So we have already discussed this, I believe. So in the Madhyalila especially, the first two shlokas of Chatushloki, they are Ahameva Samevagre Nanyatya Sadahatparam, how the Lord existed before the creation. And we, because of our Maya, we see, because of our illusion or ignorance, we see things disconnected from Krishna, and that is Maya. Okay, so this is all Sambandha Tattva. Absolute truth and relative truth is described in the first two shlokas of this Chatushloki, that is Sambandha Tattva. In the third shloka, we see Prayojana Tattva. That means a devotee sees everywhere. Yatha mahanti bhutani bhuteshu chavaseshvam pravishtanya pravishtani tata teshvanateshvaham. Just like the material elements enter into people, living beings, means material elements enter my body, and they are there outside my body also. They are everywhere. Similarly, the Lord entered the universe and is outside the universe also. That's the meaning of third Chatushloki. But ultimately, what does it mean? Krishna is everywhere. That's what it means. Krishna is everywhere. He is inside also, he is outside also. So a devotee sees Krishna everywhere. That is Prayojana Tattva. Till you see Krishna everywhere, you should be following the process of devotional service under the guidance of Guru. That's the fourth Chatushloki. Okay, so that completes Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So Mahaprabhu explains the Chatushloki Bhagavatam to this Prakashananda Saraswati, and he also explains how Chatushloki Bhagavatam describes Sambandha Tattva, Abhideya Tattva, and Prayojana Tattva. And Mahaprabhu quotes several other shlokas also from Bhagavatam that elaborate on the Sambandha Tattva. He says, Vadanti Tattva Vidas Tattvam Yajnanavadvayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdyati. So he says that those who are knowers of truth, they say that absolute truth manifests in three phases. That is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Vadanti Tattva Vidaha Tattvam Yajnanavadvayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdyati. Then he also quotes Ete Chamsa Kalapam Sa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That is also Sambandha Tattva. And Abhideya Tattva, there are many other shlokas. Bhaktyaham yagrahyah na sadhayati mam yogo then bhayam dvitiya abhiniveshatasya. There are several Bhagavatam shlokas that describe Abhideya Tattva. There are many other Bhagavatam shlokas that describe Prayojana Tattva. Smarantah smarayantascha, all that. So Prayojana is prima, characterized by trembling and love of Godhead and all that. So like that, Mahaprabhu very wonderfully establishes the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam to Prakashananda Saraswati in Varanasi, and all the residents of Varanasi got completely transformed by the association and by the instructions and explanations given by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So finally, Lord Caitanya instructs Prakashananda Saraswati, please discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't just put your head into all the explanations given by Shankaracharya in an impersonalistic perspective. Discuss Bhagavatam properly and chant the holy names of the Lord. Nirantara kara Krishna nama sankirtan helaya mukti pabe premadhan. So you should constantly chant the holy names of Krishna. Okay, then you will definitely attain liberation from this material existence. Not just liberation, pabe premadhan. You will also attain love for Krishna. And Mahaprabhu again described the 61 different meanings of Atmarama shloka to Prakashananda Saraswati also. And Mahaprabhu, by his spiritual potency, transformed the entire Varanasi into Navadvipa. Means he made all of them into great devotees. So the news spread in this whole Varanasi, that Prakashananda Saraswati, staunch Mayavadi, has been transformed into a Vaishnava. So then all the devotees also became so happy. Then Mahaprabhu begins his return journey to Puri, and he requests Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar to stay in Kasi and make everyone else as devotees. And he also instructs Sanatana Goswami, you please go to Vrindavan, and whatever instructions I have given you, please follow that. Okay, so that's how Mahaprabhu just moves ahead. So next, there's one more small incident in this chapter. Okay, that's about the life and character of Subuddhi Raya. Subuddhi Raya he was formerly a big landlord in Bengal. And Syed Hussain Shah, Syed Hussain Khan was his servant when he was very young. And Subuddhi Raya put him as in charge of digging one lake. And because he did some mistake, he whipped him. He took a whip and then struck him. And that created a mark on his back. Then later this Hussain Khan became a Nawab and also rewarded Subuddhi Raya because he was his teacher. He was not only a teacher, he was like in charge, okay, superior, elder. Then once Nawab's wife saw Subuddhi Raya's, saw this Nawab's body and asked him, what happened? What is this mark? Then he said, oh, when I was young, this Subuddhi Raya just struck me. I did some mistake. Then she says, you should immediately kill Subuddhi Raya. But then Nawab said, no, he's like my father. Out of affection, sometimes he may punish me, but I should not be killing him. Then she says, at least convert him into a Muslim. So then she constantly started instructing him, requesting him. Then finally he says, okay, fine. He took this water and sprinkled on Subuddhi Raya's head from a Muslim's pitcher, and that's considered conversion into another path. So Subuddhi Raya then left his family and business and then went to Varanasi. He came to Varanasi. Then he asked the Brahmanas, see, I have been converted into a Muslim by this pitcher. So now you tell me, how do I counteract this kind of conversion? Then these people in Varanasi, they said that you should drink hot ghee and give up your life. Burning ghee, and you should just give up your life. And some people said, no, don't do that. Please don't do all that kind of things. It's okay. Then he was a little confused. What am I supposed to do? Then he met Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu when Mahaprabhu was at Varanasi. So Mahaprabhu told Subuddhi Raya. So, Kaviraj Goswami is describing one more incident that happened when Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was at Varanasi. He met Subuddhi Raya. That's the incident. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu advised him, you please go to Vrindavan and always chant the holy names of Krishna. Even by chanting Namabhas also, all of one's sinful reactions will completely go away. So now you should go to Vrindavan and chant the holy names. And that's the best solution for any kind of sinful activity. Don't worry. Then Subuddhi Raya goes to Vrindavan. He first goes to Prayaga and then Ayodhya, then Naimisharanya, then he goes to Vrindavan. So when he was at Naimisharanya, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu went to Prayaga after visiting Vrindavan. So after reaching Mathura, he heard the Lord's itinerary and became very unhappy because he could not meet him again. Then Subuddhi Raya just stayed there and in Vrindavan. Then Subuddhi Raya would collect dry wood in that forest and he would go to Mathura and then sell it. And for each load, he would get some just 5-6 paisa. Paisa in those days is a big amount, but it's very insignificant from another perspective. So he would live on 1 paisa worth of fried chickpeas and spend remaining 4-5 paisa to give yogurt, rice, and some oil massages to Bengali Vaishnavas. And he would pour some poor Vaishnavas. So he would get little earning and he will only spend maybe 20% of it, and the remaining he will just use to serve other Vaishnavas, like that. And when Rupa Goswami came to Vrindavan at Mathura, Subuddhi Raya, out of deep love and affection for him, he showed Rupa Goswami all the 12 forests of Vrindavan. And Rupa Goswami remained with this Subuddhi Raya for 1 month, and then he went ahead. Then also when Subuddhi Raya, when Sanatana Goswami came to Vrindavan, again Subuddhi Raya showed affection to him. Sanatana Goswami was little hesitant to even accept it. So in this way, Subuddhi Raya also did a lot of service. So that's one small episode that Kaviraj Goswami speaks. Now, in the end of this chapter, Kaviraj Goswami elaborates on the activities of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. And then this is a quick summary of all the travel of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu goes from Jagannath Puri to Varanasi, then Prayaga, then Vrindavan. Then from Vrindavan he goes to Prayaga, then to Varanasi, then Jagannath. So this is the whole itinerary. So then Sanatana Goswami comes to Vrindavan and Rupa Goswami leaves from Vrindavan. So like that, this is like a little more explanation given. So now Sanatana Goswami, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu then finally goes back to Jagannath Puri. So then again he went via Jharkhand forest. Again he induced all the animals and birds to chant the holy names of the Lord, and he arrived at Atmarama. Then he had sent a message through Balabhadra Bhattacharya to inform all the devotees. Then all the devotees hastily came and met Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu when he reached Narendra Sarovar. And then all of these devotees like Damodar, Swarup Damodar, then Gadadhar Pandit, Jagadananda, Kashishwara, Govinda, Vakreshwar, Kashi Mishra, Damodar Pandit, Haridas Thakur, all these devotees came and received Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu with great love and affection. And Mahaprabhu took darshan in Jagannath Ji temple, and everyone went to Kashi Mishra's house, basically Gambhira. And in this way, Mahaprabhu completed his Vrindavan Yatra. Vrindavan Yatra began somewhere in 16th chapter, now 25th chapter. 10 chapters are Mahaprabhu's Vrindavan Yatra. But of course, in this Yatra, only 3 chapters are describing Mahaprabhu's visit to Vrindavan. Actually, 2 are 1.5 chapter, but rest is all teachings of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, then Prakashananda Saraswati. So, Ihayai Shraddha Kare Karaye Shravan Achirat Payasi Chaitanya Charan. If one hears all these pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu with Shraddha, with faith, one can easily attain the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Kaviraj Goswami gives a quick summary of entire Madhyalila at the end of this chapter, and then he concludes this whole Madhyalila with a little description of the teachings and qualities of Lord Caitanya. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Prema Tattva Sa, Bhava Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Leela Tattva are. So Krishna consciousness means to understand Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Prema Tattva, Bhava Tattva, Rasa Tattva, and Leela Tattva. The truths of all these 6 items we need to understand. That's the essence of Krishna consciousness. Shri Bhagavata Tattva Rasa Karila Prachare Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Janaila Samsare. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu personally preached these tattvas from Srimad Bhagavatam. And Krishna Tulya Bhagavata. Bhagavatam is the sound incarnation of Krishna. It's not different from Krishna. Bhaktalagi Vistarila Panevadane Kaha Bhakta Mukhe Kahai Sunaila Apani. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has broadcast the purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, sometimes he personally spoke, sometimes he spoke through his devotees. Sri Caitanya Samara Kripalu Vadanya Bhakta Vatsala Nadikhi Trijagate Anya. We cannot see anyone other than Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu who is so merciful and affectionate towards his devotees. Trijagate Anya. There is no one in the 3 worlds who is as good as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu in showing some vatsalya towards his devotees. Shraddha Kari Yei Leela Suna Bhaktagan Ihara Prasade Paiba Caitanya Charan. So please faithfully hear the pastimes of Lord Caitanya, then you can definitely attain the shelter of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. So that's the conclusion of Madhyalila, and there are many other shlokas also. Chaitanya Leela Amrita Pura, Chaitanya Leela Amrita Pura, Krishna Leela Sukar Pura, Duhe Meli Haya Sumadhya Sumadhurya. So Krishna Leela is Sukar Pura. It's like nice camphor. Chaitanya Leela is Amritapura, it's nectar. So the combination of this nectar and camphor is sweet. It's so great. Sadhu Guru Prasade Taha Yei Aswade Sejane Madhurya. So in this, by tasting this combination of Krishna Leela and Chaitanya Leela, by the mercy of devotees, one can understand its depth. So one needs to hear Chaitanya Leela and Krishna Leela through the devotees. So in this way, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's Madhyalila is concluded by Kaviraj Goswami. We'll also conclude here. So thank you all very much. Sri Caitanya-caritamrita ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Hare Krishna.